Well, good morning. It's now day 5 of the Millennium Way. It's been a month since my last walk, what with holidays and things getting in the way, and we're definitely towards the back end of summer now. We're heading into autumn, and I'd planned to finish this walk long before now, but that's the way it goes. And today I'm starting here at Meriden, and I shall end up at the old house at Packwood, which is a 16th century manor house. I think it's a slightly longer walk today, so I think I better get going. First stop for the day is the village of Meriden, home to over 2,000 villagers and just a few miles from where I live. Meriden is also home to a granite memorial dating from 1921, dedicated to all the cyclists who died in the First World War. An annual event at which thousands of cyclists pay their respects to their fallen colleagues is held in the village. Continuing the two-wheeled theme, Meriden was, until the early 80s, the home of Triumph motorcycles. The village is claimed to be at the very centre of England, and this sandstone monument, a Grade II listed artefact at over 500 years old, proclaims this fact. Other places in England have since claimed to be England's centre, and with some justification, but try telling that to the locals. See where those cows are, right ahead of me? Well, I came in down the hill, sort of to the right of them, following that tree line into Meriden. You can just see the houses of Meriden there, and the centre of Meriden's actually just behind this tree line here, and then it almost takes you straight back out again, and I've just passed the cows again, and I'm now halfway up this muddy field. So really, that whole bit of Meriden was just to entice you into the village centre to spend some money, I guess. It's quite an interesting place, it's worth a visit, but actually you could have just cut straight across that cow field, straight onto this field, and saved yourself probably a mile, but hey ho. So having been diverted into Meriden, I'm now heading out of the place, and I think last video or the one before, I can't remember which, I actually said I wouldn't be seeing any more busy places. Well, I kind of lied really, because of course there's Meriden where I've just been, and then there's Hampton in Arden on the next section of the walk, which is even busier. So yeah, there are still some busier places to visit, but nothing like Leamington or Warwick, I guess. So more fields, jolly, 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 more fields. Gotta love fields. But there is some canal walking coming up, so that'll break it up a bit. I'm just taking a 5-minute break. It's a very quiet passage of this walk. I've only seen 2 people walking a dog since leaving Meriden, and that must have been half an hour. It's all to do with that quarry, I think. There's practically nothing else around here. There's a strange smell in the air. It's like a sweetish smell, but it's kind of tinged with chemicals, and I'm not sure whether it's coming from the quarry or from the farmers' fields over there. Over there. It's pleasant though, if you like solitude. Not sure how much further this goes, but I'm enjoying it while it lasts. Well, for quite a while now I've been walking around the perimeter of a very large quarry. gravel quarry, I assume, but it's very extensive. I must have walked around it now for, well, I would say a mile at least, around its perimeter fence, and it still goes on. Didn't even know it was here, practically on my doorstep. Amazing the things you find out when you go walking. Gone a bit wrong now. I shouldn't even be walking along this dual carriageway. I should be over there somewhere, but I got wrong, so I've consigned myself to a long walk along this very busy road now, and I've missed out a few fields, but I should be okay. Just before Borsall Common. I thought it was going too well. Well, the diversion's over, and thankfully I'm off that horrible dual carriageway. I think I missed out a few fields at the end of the day. Nothing major. But it was I suppose it's an interesting, different way of doing that distance, walking along a dual carriageway. Wouldn't want to do it again. So if you ever watch this and you intend doing the Millennium Way and you do the bit I didn't do, then please write to me and tell me what I missed. I've been walking for a couple of hours now, and I'm kind of hoping that I get to the canal bit soon, because I want to stop and have lunch. Look at the weather. I mean, it's September. It's the back end of summer, but it's like a day in July. It's beautiful. I've been lucky today. Let's hope it keeps up for next week when I'm away in Yorkshire. Look at the size of this field as well. It's like a prairie, and grow some potatoes on that. So yeah, it's been a lot of field walking again, but for some reason today it's been entirely bearable, and I haven't minded it in the slightest. Whereas that day when it was boiling hot, I did start complaining about the fields. And also I've noticed today the way marking has been particularly good. So well done, Millennium Way people. I've rarely got lost. The one time I did was my fault, and the rest of the time it's been pretty easy to follow. So it's been good so far. Something else about today's walk is the number of dogs that I've been, well, I don't know how to put it, introduced to. Lots of dogs out on walks today. Lots of them off lead. So just before Meriden, some brindle Staffordshire bull thingy would have gone for me, I think, had not the owner grabbed it at the last minute. So I think that one meant business. But since then, a young Alsatian's launched itself at me playfully and landed on my chest, and another Staffordshire bull thingy launched itself at me semi-playfully and caught me right in the nads. So that was a painful experience. So I've been accosted by dogs on a regular basis. Makes a change from cows, I suppose. Well, this little tiny green lane is not only a public byway, it's also used by 4x4s. I just had a couple go past me, all tanked up, a couple of souped up Range Rovers. Very nice people, but yeah, they do churn the ground up a little bit. Now, I was expecting to go right down to the bottom of this, but there's a sign that says I have to go that way. That looks like I'm going back on myself, but I'll give it a go. Well, that was weird. That sign took me up there, along that little higher raised up path, and back down just there. I can only assume it means for people coming the other way. Otherwise it doesn't make a lot of sense. Well, I've just had a short but pleasant bit of canal walking. I've stopped for lunch, a late lunch, and now I'm on the last bit, which in theory shouldn't be as long as this morning. I think further up that canal is more where I'm familiar, because I think that's heading towards Lapworth, heart of England Way. So Yeah, not done this bit before. Legs are tired today, I have to say. And I think I've got a headache as well, which isn't a good idea because I didn't bring any paracetamol. Never mind. Maybe a pint will cure it if I can find a pub that's open. Let's see. Well, I've made good time today. I'm nearly home, well, back at the car, and it's only 2:30, so I'm going to finish about an hour or so earlier than normal. And I don't think it's because the route was any shorter, it's just a fairly well waymarked route and a lot of tracks and cart tracks, so it was easy to walk along. So I made good time. Another hot day though. I mean, it's September now and I've just used all my water just now, just finished it, because it's been baking hot in the fields again. Not as bad as last time though, and not quite as many fields. So just Packwood House now and then we're done. This is the drive down to Packwood House, the old drive, the tree-lined drive. It's now just a footpath, and I've been up and down here several times over the years, so it's very familiar to me, but it's always a joy to walk along. Mature trees, forming avenues, practically all the way down to the house itself. I'll show you, look.
And so on to Packwood House, with its gardens and its tea rooms, and the end of another great day on the Millennium Way.